Kal-El, no!
Welcome back to another Podcasting Raw Nerdy, because this episode is all about Green Lantern. There's a couple things I need you guys to check out and know. One, we've done a lot of cool interviews recently.
Honestly,
even if it was going to be his brother, the fact getting Maxwell Lord should be a surprise.
It should. Maxwell Lord is someone that you hold off for a couple of movies. You don't, you just talk about Maxwell Lord Industries. You don't show, maybe he's just shown in an interview.
And that's the next question. What Maxwell Lord do you think we're getting?
I don't know.
Because there's a Maxwell Lord that is good.
Yeah.
Well, he's still out for, no Max version of Maxwell Lord is truly good. But there's a Maxwell Lord who's still out for himself, helps the Justice League.
Yeah.
Helps the Justice Society. And there's the Maxwell Lord who's a complete villain, right?
Yeah.
Which Maxwell Lord are we getting?
I think we're getting a mix with some comedy attached to him. Sean Gunn is any role that he's done. Have you ever seen Sean Gunn do a serious role?
And that scares me because I don't want another Pedro Pascal Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of upset with the casting because I would have preferred him to have remained as Calendar Man. I think that role was perfect for him.
Yeah, and I'm scared that they're going to make Maxwell Lord very comedic, and that is, I love Pedro Pascal as an actor, but he ruined Maxwell Lord in my opinion. That was bad. But back on the topic of Green Lantern. Sorry, we got a lot of attention.
Oh my god!
But but Maxwell Lord is another through-line character that you could easily throw in Lanterns.
Yeah.
He's another one that interacts with a lot of people. So I could definitely see an appearance from Maxwell Lord. Maybe not season 1, but really being a cameo in any season. Just a brief conversation with him.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah. Well, and here's the thing. And I keep circling this in my mind of the big bad. The fact that you have Sinestro in the movie. This is why I keep going back to Vandal Savage. Someone who people idolize because he's a great talker, but what does he instill? Fear. And it's going to be one of those, it's got to be a character that is instilling fear and is going to draw a Sinestro to him. Sinestro's going to be in his ear. Now, you see what I'm saying, where we're going? Maybe the Guardians caught wind that Sinestro's on Earth and he knows who the Lanterns are, but he's the puppet master, or so he thinks he's the puppet master to who the big bad in the series is.
I think you could go very, very Jim Jones with Vandal Savage.
I just don't see any other options, unfortunately, of someone that you have this big bad that's going to span a couple of movies. And he's also the domino effect for what happened in Superman. He's also the domino effect for why we see Lobo and Supergirl.
Yeah. It's an easy through line. A very easy through line.
If James Gunn is not dumb, he thinks thorough and he thinks forward thinking and he has an end goal. But to get there, you need to be able to tell a story. To tell a story, you need great character development. You don't need to give us all of Vandal Savage in one movie. You just need to give us the name is all that we need. You end season 1 with just, I am Vandal Savage, or something to that effect. You don't have to do, but just something solidifying, similar to the way they did with Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
And Loki. You solidify who this big bad is, and you're like, holy shit, it's Kang the Conqueror. Well, you want that same effect of holy shit, it's Vandal Savage. And then you have everybody watching your movies because you have not seen Vandal Savage live action in a movie. I'm going to say that carefully. Live action in a movie.
Because you got him in Arrow, you've got him in other mediums, which I thought he was done pretty well in Arrow, actually. I liked him in that. But no, I think you're right. I think it has to either be Vandal or you have to go with, unfortunately, like a Brainiac, which I hope they don't do because I don't think that's a good choice, but I can see it happening. It's probably Vandal or Brainiac in my opinion, because I don't think you do Darkseid this early. No. But I can see Brainiac. I can see Vandal.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can't even do Ra's al Ghul. That wouldn't fit. I mean, it could, but Ra's al Ghul is too egotistical to be, I'm hiding in plain sight. Ra's al Ghul is I'm just Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah, and I think you save Raj for Batman. I think Because he's going to be a big part of Brave and the Bold, for sure. I mean, he has to be.
Brave and the or Dynamic Duel.
Yeah. In one of those movies, he's going to be a big part. Because you're in Brave and the Bold, you're telling the story of Damien.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to at least mention him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, Damien, that's Damien's grandfather, right?
There's no way that you could get around without, you know, that's going to be impossible to get around. So you got to save him for that. But my overall, here's what I would like to see out of this series. I would love for it to establish Green Lantern within as an actual respected superhero where people are like, oh, he's allergic, you know, he's impervious to wood. I mean, one of the things we have seen is, and I think they're going the route of each lantern is going to have a different ring, which is so good because each ring technically has a different characteristic. Hal Jordan's ring can create clones of itself, so you could give it to other bearers. It also makes them semi-invincible, semi-immortal. And that's going to be very, very important down the long run because I'm just going to shoot my shot here and what I think is going to happen. Season 1, we get the introduction. Maybe Hal doesn't die, but Hal retires. Somewhere within this Gunverse, Coast City is going to get destroyed. Hal Jordan's retiring, which means he's still going to retain his Green Lantern ring. You can't give it up. It stays with you for life until you die. So what's going to happen is he's going to snap, and we're going to get paralyzed.
I was also thinking of who did a guy turn into when he snapped?
Oh, he turned into, depends, when he wore the Yellow Lantern or when he was just a warrior guy. For
That's
a
what I
while,
was thinking.
Guy Gardner, warrior guy.
I was thinking warrior guy. They could go that route too. But also, that brings up, I want to tie this back to this. So when does Green Lantern take place? Is it pre-Superman, post-Superman?
Pre. In order for it to make... I would hope so. I would hope so because we've established that the superheroes are already around. So that's... But I would prefer that it takes place pre-Superman so that there's none of this of when is Superman showing up? When is Superman showing up? When is Superman? None of that.
None of it's true.
I don't want any of that. But it also, when you look at a guy, now it makes sense why they chose Nathan Fillion for Guy Gardner.
So do you think Green Lantern leads into Superman as far as timeline? As far as like when Green Lantern ends, Guy is going off to meet this guy that's in Metropolis or whatever. So you see what I'm saying?
I'm hoping because Hal and Guy Gardner are about 3 or 4 years age difference. Nathan Fillion isn't a young duckling. So we're only probably going to get Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, and maybe just one film. This is really for Jon Stewart. The whole series is to give Jon Stewart a pedestal so that he could be the Green Lantern of the Gunverse for now. No, because there's so much other stuff that's going to be coming down the pipe with Green Lantern. But it needs to be a prequel so that it fits better. Not coming off of the events of what happened in Metropolis and I just helped and now I'm coming to help you guys. No, because then you would have brought friends. You would have brought your...
You would have brought the squad, the whole squad.
Yeah, no, you're acting alone in this and you're not a team player, although you're part of, the Lantern Corps. But you really don't like these other two guys anyway because he feels you're arrogant and cocky and you're going to show up and then you're going to take off. Nathan Fillion needs to be, in my opinion, maybe 2-3 episodes, but not more than that. And maybe give him a backstory while you're at it. That's going to be the best place. So we're going to get him already established as the Lantern in the Superman movie, but give him his backstory in the Lantern in an episode. I don't even know how many episodes they're going to be. Hopefully we're getting at least 10, 11 episodes. If it's shorter, then that means these episodes got to be an hour long just to give us good content and be able to tell a good story. But that's you can't do half hour. Because if you're going to do half hour, you need to give us 26 episodes. If you're going to do it longer than at least anywhere, I would say 10, 12 in that range of at least 45 minutes to an hour. And none of this 15 minutes of filler showing us the previous episode. I don't need that. Just get straight to the action.
Talking to you, Last of Us.
I don't need that. But I mean, that's, just get quick storytelling, quick scenes.
Come on, man. That's too easy.
None of this drawn out. Lots of Easter eggs that fans of Green Lantern are going to enjoy, because you want old and new to come together and enjoy this. And then after this, I mean, I can almost see a breakdown of every 2 episodes, because this is big for James Gunn and DC to do. It's bigger, in my opinion, it's bigger than Peacemaker. It's more important than Peacemaker. Peacemaker right now is just a placeholder for Checkmate and Amanda Waller. That's the only reason Peacemaker is still around, and the goofiness of Peacemaker. But Lantern is here to tell the deeper story.
And I was going to say, that's the other thing that kind of irks me right now, and that kind of is bugging me. So I feel like there's way too many squads.
Yes,
already. There's Creature Commandos.
Yep.
It seems like you're setting up Checkmate.
Yep.
You got the Suicide Squad apparently still out there somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you got your Justice League, who should be your main focus. And then you got
Titans.
You got Titans, most likely, because you're bringing in Damian, so you have to have Titans.
Yeah.
And then you got the Authority.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like it's too much.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make all that work and have all of them have a level of importance.
Well, it's just too many of them. And the thing about it is, there's the rumor of Swamp Thing. And what's that going to give us? Just
then you have the yeah.
And then you're going. So I think realistically, I'm not going to hold James Gunn to trueness to anything beyond 2027. Everything else is slated to change, because that's the only way that you can. I would say 2027. Anything beyond that can change. Even 2027. Because
and then you have the Green Lantern Corps, like we're talking about. So it's like all of these, and I get that they all exist in the comic books. Fine, that's the comic books. We're talking about a movie.
Yeah, and we're talking about to make these.
Yeah, we're talking about a movie universe where you have to make it the casual understand all of that, right?
Yeah.
And it's one thing in the comic books, and it's one thing on paper when you're like, well, which still doesn't make much sense. When you're like, well, Superman is kind of just handling Metropolis, and Batman and his squad's handling Gotham, and the Flash is handling Central City. But that still makes no sense of why Superman, who could be somewhere in a second, is not there. You see what I'm saying? But like,
yeah,
it's that sort of thing. But like, and when you put all, I'm hoping like, because we're getting these characters, that's not necessarily we get the teams attached to them.
I hope so. I hope you're right. We don't need the Green Lantern Corps yet. We don't. You could show them, but we don't need them acting as a whole entity until they are needed to fight other similar cosmic beings, which I hope is totally 4 or 5. I mean that, or just a movie. No, it needs to be episodic. That needs to be episodic, but it'll be a movie. It'll be if they go the way of the Mandalorian, it'll work. You tell the story episodically until you get to the last season, which is a movie. That's the only way it would work. Because again, this needs to be Endgame, but how many people need to die for this to be Endgame?
A lot.
Yeah, and we haven't even gotten off the ground with Batman or Aquaman. So it's a long term, but you have this is why I'm saying you have a young Jon Stewart, a young actor that can play Jon Stewart for at least 10 years. Like Ryan Reynolds says, you're going to be playing Wolverine till you're 99. Well, guess what? You're going to be playing Jon Stewart till you're 99, because they're going to need you. And I mean, honestly, if the series does good, they're going to get good endorsement, and it's going to make money, and then they can spend more money on CGI and lantern fights. Like, we're going to bust out Sinestro out of jail just to fight Hal Jordan, and all Hal Jordan does is snap his neck, and he's wearing 10 lantern rings on his finger, on his hands. Mm-hmm. Like, something like that is what's going to be, is what I hope the end game, because then that's going to give Kyle Rayner relevancy, and while Kyle, but then it goes so much well beyond, because then it's going to go into Blackest Night, and somewhere along the line, Kyle Rayner being the one lantern that can rule all the emotional spectrum, and all the rings are coming to him, and all these different lanterns are coming at him, and he can't figure it out. He goes to and the Guardians are trying to kill him too, and Saint Walker's the only person that comes to save him. and then he becomes Sentry. Not Sentry. What's that? Sentinel. But basically the epitome of all the Lantern colors in once. And he didn't wield it for long, but how epic is that? Just to show that, but who knows where that would be in the lines of a episodic, or if you saved that for a movie. I mean, I'm probably shooting too far.
I feel like James Gunn is trying to like feed somebody a 5-course meal has never eaten in their life. Does that make sense?
Yes, with lanterns, yes. But
so like,
yeah.
So that's kind of how I feel. Like with the Brave and the Bold, with lanterns, with all these concepts, it's just like with Brave and the Bold, I'm a huge Batman person. I'm a huge Gotham Rogues person. And with Brave and the Bold, with Damian, touching on that real quick, I feel like that's way too early. Because it's just like, why are we the first Robin we're being introduced to as a center of a movie is Damian? Not Dick, not, you know,
Tim.
like, not Tim, not that asshole, not Red Hood,
Jason.
you know,
Yeah,
not Jason Todd, but Damian? Like, and I love Damian, but
oh yeah.
I love him as a character. I think he's very complex. I think he's there's a lot there, but you don't like shoot your load with Damian. You see what I'm saying?
You got the build up.
Like, because you're going to have to tell a lot of story of Brave and the Bold to make that story make sense.
What, are you gonna Highlander the whole movie? That's gonna suck for a Batman movie.
Yeah, you're gonna have to touch at least on Dick, and Dick's gonna have to be there, guys, to explain that a little bit.
Yeah,
and possibly Jason too.
You need both of them. I'm sorry, you need all three. You can't just jump to Damian and I'm Robin and no explanation of what happened to Dick, what happened to Jason, what happened to know Tim. No, you need all three. And honestly, and what happened to Batgirl? Oh yeah, we know what happened to her. She got canceled. No, but I mean seriously, you can't skip over that. I think James Gunn, his concept of live action into animated into live action crossing over is going to be his focal point, where some of this stuff is going to have to be told over animated. And it makes sense because it's going to create this fluency of, you're going to have to watch that animated movie, no matter how much you don't want to watch an animated movie, to understand this live. It's going to go two ways. It's going to work or it's not going to work.
And what I don't get is, like, with the popularity of like Titans Go and Titans and all this stuff, you would think the logical sense would be to focus on Dick Grayson, because he's so much in the modern sphere, just like Jon Stewart is. Going back to the Green Lantern talk, you know, with Titans Go and stuff, people love Dick Grayson. So it's just like, why you didn't go that route, I'm not sure.
I'm kind of at the point of where it was the last year of him being. Give us a movie where he's with Batman and he finally says, "F you, I'm leaving. I'm gonna become Batman."
Yeah, but
that
but my point is, like, focus on Dick somehow. Like, why you're focusing on Damian, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not saying like I'm not excited about having Damian. We've never had Damian in live action ever. But I feel like that's something you needed to build up to.
Same, but different.
Yeah, because no one knows who Talia is.
Right.
Except she's the one that stabbed Batman in the side, you know, in the bank and all that crap. No one really knows that story of, you know, Talia and Bruce Wayne and a real Ra's al Ghul. Real Ra's, you know. And
like,
so
I'm pretty sure.
Go ahead.
Like, I'm pretty sure in Brave and the Bold, you're probably gonna in flashbacks or whatever, you're gonna get Dick Grayson, you're gonna get probably Jason Todd, but I think they're gonna be more like afterthoughts because it's not their movie, right? So it's gonna be like more like cameo sort of stuff where you can't just like show them on screen and be like, oh, they're there. No, explain this to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, especially to the common moviegoer. Like, if you start throwing Damian, Dick, Tim, Jason all at the screen, but you're really only focusing on Damian, they're not gonna know what the relevance of all these other Robins are.
Well, no. And he's running before he walks with Batman. That's the thing about Batman is you need to walk. And I get it. He's trying to stay away what we've already seen with Batman. That's the thing, is we've just about seen it all. with Batman. And so he's trying to be fresh with Batman, but at the same time, this is your universe. Take your time to tell the story of Batman. I don't think there's going to be not one person that won't be disappointed about going to see a movie with Robin in it. I wouldn't even be disappointed to see the beginning of the movie, Robin leaving, use time skip, and now you're with, Jason Todd. Something more like that, where Robin's still there, but that should have been a movie before you go to Brave and the Bold. The problem is his movie goal is PG-13. You cannot tell Red Hood at PG. That's why we're never going to see that. We're never going to see Killing Gun or Death in the Family, because those aren't meant to be PG.
Very violent.
It's almost as if you give that you Elseworlds it.
Like, I'm pretty sure Brave and the Bold is going to have very, very kick-ass shorter feel.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's probably the route they're going to go with that, with Big Daddy and Kick-Ass sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's kind of where you're going, but there's going to be a lot of backstory needed to tell that story. But like the biggest fan casting going around is 11. I mean, sorry, 5.
Yeah.
5 from Umbrella Academy. That actor playing Damien. That's the biggest fan casting. Which he would be good. I think he's starting to age out.
Yeah,
but
you mentioned Kick-Ass, and no one's ever mentioned this one. Aaron Taylor Johnson as Bruce Wayne.
Does he have the acting chops? That's the thing.
Did you watch Craven?
I did.
Did you like it?
I didn't.
Was it the script, or was it his acting, or was it both?
That's a hard answer. I think it was a little bit of both. I think he was given a bad script, but I don't know if a good script would have saved it. That's the thing.
No, you know what? Just on paper, it sounds right, but nah. Because I'm trying to think of it. That whole movie, I was just thinking Quicksilver. Right.
And I don't think he was that great he didn't have to do much, but I don't think he was that great of an actor in Quicksilver like that.
No.
So, but
that's
no.
a whole different story. That's what we're going to. So again, all right, let me reel myself back in with Green Lantern, because we just went. So this movie, this show is meant to check off lists, is what it is, and it's meant to bring back the unhappy Green Lantern fans, old and new, back into the fold, because we got burned by the Snyderverse, and we didn't get, although I'm glad we didn't get Jon Stewart, because that would have been so wrong. We did get Green Lanterns in the Snyder cut. So we did, and the ring floated off. I'm dead. Why? But we did get a lantern. I was kind of happy about that. I was kind of happy that we got that and not Jon Stewart at the end, because I would have just destroyed Earth, because that would have just been so wrong. This series is very, very, very important for James Gunn to work. I know that he's inheriting it, but I'm also glad that he decided not to kibosh it. Yeah, because it does hold value within his world. If we get, mention of a Starfire, if we get mention of a Mongul, the Monitors, the Anti-Monitors, these are going to be characters that need to be introduced cosmically. There's no other way for it to be done than the Lanterns and the Guardians that have been around for God knows how long and seen it all. What I don't hope is that they look at the moon one night and it has a lantern emblem on it, because that's just going to be so cheesy to just bring Mongul in that way. But I think they're going to need to check mark Sinestro Corps and the fact that there are other lantern rings out there, or allude to it. And so we chose willpower over all the other emotions of the spectrum. Just a simple nod like that will admit that there's other emotional rings out there without having to say a lot. A little scene where a cat gets beaten up in an alleyway and then just something red arrives to it. Little things like that will work. You don't have to say a lot. It's just a scene of obscurity. But the minute you have a scene with a cat and then it's getting abused in an alleyway, and then something red appears to it. Every Lantern fan on the face of the earth is watching that series.
They know exactly what that means, and they're hooked.
And they know what's coming and what's being alluded to. And you've now got them watching your show for the end of that run because they're going to wait to see what's going to happen with that little cat. And that's all you need to get people to watch this show. Little hints at other stuff. You don't need to give us all, but give us little hints, because I tell you, I'm a fanboy, and I'll be like, I'll be squealing at the little stuff that happens in this show if you give us the right stuff. That's all. You don't have to give us full, just breadcrumbs is all you need to do for this show. And then I'm going to watch whatever you give me as long as you you dangle the carrot of Green Lantern.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Talk about nerd rants. Uncle Black just went on a slight little one. What do you guys think? Where are we going with Green Lantern, HBO Max's Green Lantern? What are you expecting from it? Who do you want to see? Are you excited? Are you not excited? Where are you on the scale with the show? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear from you. And if you are lucky enough, your comment will be chosen to be highlighted on the next episode right here or right there. All right, here, somewhere on the screen. And we'll talk about it. Positive or negative, have respect your fellow nerds, and let's have a discussion.
Yeah, seriously. If you think I'm wrong, totally, you could add Shafto69 on X, almost any platform, call me out. I would love to have a discussion with anybody about Green Lantern, and if you think I'm wrong, why I'm wrong, or if you disagree, I would love to have that conversation. I just think that this series is not getting enough. I'm tired of hearing the same crap from people online about, I'm not going to be happy. Just be happy it's a Green Lantern series. That's all.
We're getting a Green Lantern series, guys. And like I said, some of you may not care, but let us know why you don't care.
Yeah.
What series are you looking forward to more? There are a few out there that are in development. So let us know what you want to see. And like always, I have to say this because I say it every episode. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe. But by all else, you keep it nerdy, my friends.
Keep it nerdy and drink your water.
And drink up. Glad to have you guys.
Till next time.